Hello everyone, Drum Tech drummer and YouTube educator Kenny Sharretts coming to you with a video that I hope you find to be the most important tuning video you've ever seen in your life. Because today I'm going to do something I actually haven't done in any of my videos. Now if you've watched my drum tuning videos, you've seen me take a brand new head, put it on the drum, balance it up, stretch it out, let it stretch, and then tune it to a various set of intervals so you can hear how the drum sounds at different tunings. However, I've never taken one from what I call stretched scratch, where the head has already been played and or stretched, so I take it back down to zero and start over again. And I wanted to show you this video because in the end, I know that's how most drummers are actually getting their work done. They're doing it after they've played a show, they gotta retune the kit, they gotta retune what's going on, that's been played. So sometimes it's best just to go to scratch if you can't find your way, the weather's got to you, or the head's just gotten a bit worn out. Going back to scratch like I'm about to do here is a good thing to do. Now this is a new head, but I have stretched it overnight to make sure it had a good stretch on it, like it had been played, like it had been stretched. And so I'm gonna show you the steps I would take. Now, if you've ever watched my videos, you know I'm an aficionado of my concept I like to call plus and X, which is I like to use two keys to tune across from each other in a plus pattern, then an X pattern that allows me to keep equal levels of tension on each side and kind of set the hoop as we go and make sure you have two tension points to work with. You know, I talk about a lot of my videos about getting things finger tight, and so in this situation, this applies more than you could ever imagine. Because if I take these and kind of get them finger tight from where they are, and if you look, all these are a little wiggly, they're all off the hoop, so you could say that I'm coming basically from ground zero. And I come from the underside just to get that first initial tension lock. And again, we've got them locked here, we've got them locked here, so I'm gonna double check these settings and make sure I've set them well. Now, a lot of people talk about it in my lessons and some of the other videos that they've seen it, oh, this finger tightening technique hurts my fingers. And right now, since I ain't been on tour, it's hurting my fingers a little bit too. But to be honest right now, it's the best way to feel your way through the drum head. Now again, I'm just doing equal turns on both sides. First in that plus and now in this X pattern, gonna come from the underside and up. But I also know that if you have drumming gloves, you might be able to use a set of those and it'll help you a whole lot when it comes to getting this process done. Now I'm gonna go back to the elements of the drum all the way around and go all the way around again, because I know oftentimes you tune around in a circle, you tune in the star pattern and every other one pattern, and you get to the last slug and it's as loose as it gets. And you no longer have a tension reference. You don't even know if you're tuning it enough times or not. This process kind of takes that out of the situation, because now I'm taking the time to actually really set these down in a way that I can feel how equal they are. Now this one I'm going to turn here so I can really dig into it. Oh yes. But again, it is the plus X pattern that makes this possible, because you're setting it from 2 points. Yet you saw me in just a few sets of turns, even turns, and this drum head is pretty much in tune all the way around. So this is one of the points I wanted to stress, because again, woo! Now that's a floor tom, y'all. And it took me only a few minutes to do it because I took the time to balance the head before I went at it. Now let's go ahead and listen to some other tunings. I'm gonna do this with the two drums. Let's put a tune bot on it, because I know a lot of y'all use like drum dials, tune bots. You wanna know what the pitches are. So I'm gonna mute this bottom head, double check my pitches with both a tune bot and a piano. Ah, just a little flat of the G sharp. So I have a 102 on my G sharp right now. I'm gonna come in with a simple nudge up, because I could hear this one right here is a little low. And everybody's gonna get the most micro turn up on the planet, just to give it a little seal. And we have basically a G sharp to a C sharp. So let's see how this refined tone sounds. And again, we got no moon gels on these drums, y'all. These drums are wide open. We're gonna discuss moon gels in just a moment. What else can I say? I mean, listen how good that sounds. I'm so excited about that. Now I have this tuned up to an F to B flat on this 12-inch tom, because it's one of my favorite tunings for this drum, but it keeps the drum hot. Gives a good blend with my 14, with the 16 down here. it's pretty low. Now, I want my 16 to sound like this. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a video where I put this tuning and this tuning with my 14-inch floor tom, and then we're gonna do some tuning intervals with the drums so you can hear what they sound like as we go over this range of tunings. I'm gonna be doing it at my home studio, but I had to do this here in a room where you could really hear the difference, because you saw how easy it was to tune that drum. Happened right in front of you, and again, I'll put a moon gel in the middle, we put a tune bot on it, where I can go around the drum, and it give me the pitches I want. Bring it over here. And this is kind of my point about teaching you this technique. Tuning with a drum dial or a tune bot, if that's what works for you, please, by all means, do it. But this makes it easier. If you start with a balanced, and then you tune it up to close where you want, fine tuning is easy. And that's what I love using these tools for, fine tuning. Because again, I use them for y'all, so you know how to fine tune with them. Yeah, I'm getting a 105 to 104 all the way around this drum. And so in the few places where I saw a little bit of tension down, I know I can nudge these up. Now you notice I'm coming together because this side of the hoop was just a hair bit lower. All over here, it's all 105. And by doing the tap tap tune I do, where I let the drums sing out, you can hear it pull right into pitch. So we're sitting at the 105, 104, depending on how I hit it, how hard I hit it, and that makes me happy because again, a couple of rounds of turns, y'all. Now, before we move on from these tunings, I want to kind of find the interval that these two are at. So when I bring this 16 up a little to get closer to this 12-inch, I understand where I'm going and why I'm going there. Because right now I know I have a G sharp to a C sharp on the floor tom, and I have an F to a B flat on this tom tom. So I know that I'm going to have to bring it at least up to like a B flat to kind of give it the interval that I want, to where these are like a perfect fifth apart, without raising this 12. And let's see how high we can get this 16-inch tuned before we run out of space and it starts to sound boingy. However, before we do that, I did want to mention one other thing about tom tuning in general. Is again, I hear a lot of talk on the internet and in groups about, oh, if you can't tune a drum, that's why you use moon gel. It's not why I use moon gel. And I want to make this clear. When I have freshly tuned toms with fresh heads, drums sound great, right? Nice and warm. Lots of attack, but there's a lot of ring to the air around them, a certain brightness that, while I love, sometimes it's not musically appropriate, or sometimes in your inner mix or in the studio, you just need a little bit of that off. And this is why I tend to use like half moon gels. So let's check out the next level of tuning on these drums, and then we're also going to do a set of tunings on the full kit when I take it to the home studio. Until then, let's look at the next step on the 16. All right, y'all, so I've got the drum flipped back over now, and we've got it tuned to the perfect fourth. We have it A sharp to D sharp, or in this case, in reference to the F and B flat here, we have B flat to E flat. So it's kind of scale specific. Love it. Now again, I'm using the perfect fourth to enhance the fact that I may have to tune this up a little bit higher to meet the sound I love on my 12, which is this. My girl, perfect fifth, and I'm loving it, y'all. And let's check that with a moon gel, just to make sure we're super happy. Wait, that's not it. What? It's up here, y'all. That's right. When you tune to the perfect fourth, the bottom head is what gives you the pitch. And I want to make sure you understand these things. So again, I want to make this like the most important tuning video you've ever seen, because again, all it really took was finger tightening, a stretched head to balance, a few rounds of turns, and boom, we had it tuned one way. Flip it over, boom, tune the other way, boom, tune the other way. Why? Using stereo tuning, even short micro turns in the plus X pattern, and starting with it balanced in the first place. Because I'm telling y'all, this sounds so good. And I gotta say, I'm loving my new Rogers Covington Floor Tom, y'all. This is insanely deep for tuning this high. And again, you can feel how this is actually a great punk rock floor tom at this tension where it's not too deep, but it's got enough pitch in the upper range to kind of get some rejection and attack. So if you're dealing with two toms, this is a great interval between the two of them to make it musical. And now let's take this to the studio and see what it sounds like in part 2 when I stick that 14 in between and we find some great intervals for these 3 drums for all kinds of different music.